What's up, everybody? Today, we're going to be talking about Valorant. So, I've been playing Valorant pretty regularly for a few months now. I became aware of it pretty late into the global beta period, but didn't start playing it until the full release. Now, to no one's surprise, I'm not particularly good at Valorant, or any game like it for that matter, but I've put a lot of time into it offline with my friends or online on my Twitch streams. Come check those out. Follow me at twitch.tv/Jakob Schall, link is down in the description. Anyways, a lot of my opinions come from talking with my friends who are of varying skill levels, from very casual all the way up to nearing top tier levels of play. Because of this skill variety, a lot of them had very different opinions on different things in Valorant, but there were a couple of things that were true across every skill level in the game. Keep in mind, many of my takes are subjective, and I'm by no means a good player, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. It may not apply to you or where you are skill-wise, but I felt like I was able to capture a lot of good opinions from varying skill levels in the game. Now, what exactly is Valorant? For those who don't know, Valorant is a 5v5 tactical shooter game developed by Riot Games. Yes, this Riot Games. While at first glance, the flow of this game closely resembles CounterStrike, it also employs a lot of mechanics that are very similar to other games. This blend of different game elements has garnered Valorant the delightful nickname CS:GO Overwatch. While I agree that the art style and overall look of Valorant does closely resemble Overwatch, I feel as though it is much more a blend of CounterStrike and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Unlike CounterStrike and much more like Rainbow Six, Valorant is a character-based game. Before each match, each 5-player team gets to pick from a pool of different characters. Every player starts off with the same 5 characters unlocked, and the rest are unlocked throughout playing the game and doing XP-based challenges. Once the game starts, the teams are randomly selected to be either the attacking team or the defending team. The attacking team's goal is to plant a device on one of the designated sites and have it detonate. The goal of the defending team is to defuse that device as well as eliminate all other enemies. After playing 12 rounds as one side, the roles are flipped and another up to 12 rounds are played. The first team to win 13 rounds wins the game. However, it is possible for both teams to win 12 rounds, which results in a tiebreaker. I'll discuss that a little bit more later. Alright, so let's start with the method that Riot Games used to release Valorant. Valorant took the world by storm with the use of Twitch to release beta keys. Users would watch streamers playing Valorant and would be entered in the chance to get a beta key. The tactic of using exclusivity and chance successfully generated lots of hype and anticipation for this game. All I have to do is watch my favorite streamer and I get to play too? Well, yes, sort of. There was no guarantee that you would get a beta key by watching other streamers, but the opportunity at getting a chance to play was enough for most players to be engaged. Now, I believe that Valorant being as successful as it was is great for CounterStrike and other games like it. I had been playing CounterStrike for a few months leading up to the release of Valorant, so I only had about 150 hours or so in the game and I was stuck in Silver 2. Nothing too crazy, but I was having a bunch of fun with my friends. With Riot pushing regular updates to Valorant after the release, it put a lot of pressure on Valve to be doing the same with CounterStrike, a game that wasn't treated as well as it should have been. Competition in this game space, which had been dominated by Valve with CounterStrike for so long, was a great thing. It ensures that a game like CounterStrike is being kept up to date and as engaging as possible for players. Now, while I still love CounterStrike, I think that there are a couple of things that Riot nailed with Valorant that CounterStrike could learn a thing or two from. The ranking system in Valorant isn't perfect, but it is light years ahead of CounterStrike in my opinion. There is more fluidity between ranks, meaning it is easier to rank up and rank down in Valorant. In my opinion, in CounterStrike, it is nearly impossible to get out of the lower silver ranks because of cheaters and smurfs. In Valorant, cheating is something that I have yet to encounter, which feels great. Smurfing and de-ranking does still happen in Valorant, but it does not feel nearly as bad as it does in CounterStrike. Valorant also shows you how each game affects your rank. Crazy, right? Being more transparent with your players and showing them how much each game actually affects their in-game performance and ranking? Kind of crazy. Now, they aren't actually 100% transparent with the in-game rating numbers, but being able to see how much each game affects my performance also feels really good. Now, while we're talking about competitive play, I will briefly go over the tie-breaking system. After a game ends 12-12, there's an initial overtime period. Each team gets to try both attacking and defending again. This can either lead to a win by 2 rounds or another draw. If it results in another draw, all of the 10 players get to vote to decide if they want to continue the game or not. After the first tie, 6 votes to draw are required for the game to end in a draw. After the second round of overtime, only 3 votes are required. And after the third, just 1 vote to draw is required to end the game in a draw. I like the idea of being able to redeem yourself from a draw, but it is pretty defeating when the one person required to vote a draw does, and the game that you've put so much time and effort into ends in a draw. However, this is a really good draw system in my opinion, and for what it is, I think it's pretty great. Now, I want to talk about one of my biggest problems with Valorant, the player base. The accessibility of Valorant is great. For most people, it will be their first tactical shooter game that they ever play. It's a good opportunity for new players to be able to join this genre of games because of the low skill floor provided by agents having abilities. This means that there is less reliance on shooting in a game to still be able to perform well for your team. This accessibility, however, means that the player base is largely young, new, or possibly both. The new players are usually fine to play with, especially if they care about learning about the game, but they tend to lack the basic game sense things that are required in a game like this. This can obviously change by learning more about tactical shooters, but this results in most players, even in competitive games, playing like they're casual games. Along with the accessibility, this means that a lot of the player base is younger. Now, there are some young players who will be better than I will ever be, but I've encountered a large number of players who seem to be on their older siblings' account, and all they want to do is play cool characters, shoot cool guns, use cool abilities, and screw around, and if they die, it's okay, because they just respawn the next round and do the same thing over and over again. For someone like me, who initially placed in a low rank, but was willing to put in the work to rank up, this is incredibly frustrating. I want to get good at the game, but whenever I queue into a game where only 3 or 4 of the 5 players in the game are going to take the game seriously, it's incredibly discouraging. I now tend to only play in a 4-stack with my friends and I. I would also never dare solo queue in the lower ranks, especially because I'd be scared of perpetually staying in a low rank. CSGO has a similar problem at low ranks, but I think a lot of that comes from cheaters rather than younger players. There are definitely toxic players in Valorant too. People who have been voice chat banned or rude for no reason, people who will throw games for no reason or because they're bad at playing the game, those kinds of things. The list goes on. Toxicity isn't quite the same as it is in CSGO, but it is definitely there and does detract from the experience of the game. My next big gripe with the game is map design. I'll try and keep this bit short because I don't want it to become a complaint fest, but there are some big issues that I have with the design of maps in this game. In every single map, there are deep corners or pockets where players can hide. Most of these places are right around important doors or choke points, which means that the person holding that ridiculously deep pocket has an advantage over the person who's trying to take the site. In order for a player to be able to check this deep corner too, chances are they have to become completely blind to one side of the map, which makes them weak to being attacked from the opposite side of the corner. Having these in the game makes it feel a lot like hide and seek and takes away from the experience of retaking a site and makes that completely unappealing. I can only assume that these are in the game to make the maps feel a little less attacker-sided, allowing the defending team to hold stronger angles. In games like this, the attacking team does tend to have an advantage because they can decide where all the players go. If all the players want to go to one site, that's fine, but the defending team has to decide how to split up, and that could mean that it could be a 5v3 or even a 5v2 interaction on a site, giving the attackers an advantage. I still feel like there are better ways to counteract this problem, like maybe adding less 90-degree angles or something like that in the maps, but I'm no game designer. On top of this, I really wish that Riot Games would prioritize developing more and better maps instead of adding new characters to the game. I want to have a better variety of an experience rather than just playing the same 4 maps in the game. Along with this, Riot, please let us choose the maps that we want to play in each game. I don't want to keep playing the same maps over and over again. Or if I do, I want to be able to pick the map that I'm going to play. Having this feature alone would make the game so much better. As a quick side note on quality of life things, I want to talk about skins. Many of the skin packs and skins themselves in Valorant are fantastic. It's clear that lots of thought and effort went into each of these packs. The first problem I have, however, is the cost. These packs can cost upwards of $60 US a piece. That alone is insane given how frequently the skin packs are released. To add to this, you can't even earn the in-game currency to buy skins or packs of skins in the game. You have to purchase it separately. This means that any money spent on skins in this game is a completely sunk cost. There's no way to get it back. I'm much more a fan of how Valve has integrated a skin market into CounterStrike. This means that there is some recourse for whenever you purchase a skin or earn a skin in the game. You can get some of your money back. Again, this isn't necessary, but at this moment I feel no desire to buy skins without being able to get some of my money back, if I wanted to. Their store is structured a lot like how Epic Games structured Fortnite's store, but even there you can earn some in-game currency by playing the game. And having this method works, but it is not my preferred method of having a shop or skins in the game. Now for just some other quick things. Riot seems to be doing a really good job at listening to what the community wants in the game. A lot of the updates revolve around what the competitive meta looks like and ensuring that each agent in the game is as viable in its own right as possible. I personally enjoy playing Jett, Sova, and Sage. Jett is by far my favorite duelist agent as she relies a lot more on shooting rather than using abilities and support. Now, despite Sage's recent nerf, I still think that she is a great character and I do enjoy filling that support role. Now, I'm relatively new to playing Sova, but his recognizance abilities are incredibly versatile and fun, making for a really enjoyable game experience. Now, as far as guns go, I have some that I really like and some that I avoid like the plague. The operator in Valorant is the controversial equivalent of CSGO's op. Some players feel like it is just too strong and should be completely removed from the game. Overall, I actually don't mind the operator, but being spammed by a team of 5 all using ops does not feel very good. Despite this, I think that the op does have its tactical place in Valorant. I don't always like that so many walls in this game are penetrable by guns, but it's part of the game and it does add an extra level of strategy to holding angles and things like that. In all, I really like Valorant as a game. I think they revitalized the tactical shooter genre and added a little extra flair to make the game extra interesting and engaging. I recommend this game to anyone who has played any kind of shooter game before but is new to the PC, as I think it has a lot of elements that cater towards new players. I also recommend this game to anybody who's not new to the PC but is new to shooter games. I think that there's a much lower skill level required to begin playing this game, and it helps teach players different elements of shooting games. And the best part of all of this, it's free. You can't beat that price. Okay, it took me a while to settle on this score, but from a bad player's perspective, Valorant gets a 6 out of 10. The game is well made, and it seems like the designer's choices do come across with the best intentions. Despite this, however, I do feel like there are a myriad of ways in which Riot Games can take this game to the next level. Even though so many new features have been added since global release, it still feels like a game that's stuck in beta. They have already secured themselves as one of the best tactical shooters ever made, but they have so much potential to actually become the best. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time playing Valorant and look forward to all the changes that are to come. Alright, if you enjoyed my review of Valorant, please let me know in the comments down below what other games you'd like to see me review. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video, it helps me out a ton. If you'd like to see me play Valorant along with a bunch of other games, you can come over and follow me on Twitch. The link is down in the description. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday around 9 p.m. Eastern time. Anyways, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. How come all this conversation, me? How come
all your ladies, they want me. 1 2 3 3 7, I'ma lead.
Oh, I died. No way.
Way back to the bag, that's greed.
I know.
Greed. Low water whip, G-class push start. Pretty bitch brain, A plus felt smart. Girl, you talking shit, that's what I can pitch posh. Me and I'm ballin' like Chris Bosh. Kinda whip to lately.